So let's go ahead and visit our past. Whew. Our past. That is hard sometimes because there are certain things and phases of our lives that we may not be so proud of, or we sit here and wonder, why did I let that happen to me? Or how did I get into that situation? Why was that even an option, right? And then there's other things in our past where it's like, damn, I did a great job, or like, I'm so proud of myself, or if I wasn't at that one place at the right time, I may not have been where I'm standing right now in my job, in my career, in my relationship, in my, journey in self-love and self-care and all of those things. So your past is hugely important and very, very critical to what you're doing currently. And again, it's informing what you should be doing for your future. By doing these different types of intakes and these different journaling activities that I'm about to talk about, it's going to get you places that you need to go. So how are we going to look at our past self? Well, you're going to sort of have to become a detective. And when I say detective, I mean it. You're going to sort of become like a Sherlock Holmes. And what you're going to do is look back and figure out what triggers my emotions, what triggers my decision making. Why would I say yes to one thing and no to another? Or why would I allow certain behaviors or emotions to bubble to the surface or happen to me? And why do I not allow others to happen to me? So this has a lot to do with your personal values. It has a lot to do with how you were raised. It has a lot to do with your current environment and where you live in or where you used to live. There's so many factors, and being an occupational therapy student, I've understood the importance of being a person in an environment doing the things that I do. So it's person, environment, and occupation. And occupation is just the daily things that we do and that we take part of. It's like the activities that we integrate into our lives to survive, but also to, strive for with passions and things like that. So that is extremely important. And looking back and being critical on those things, and again, not the self-critic, harsh type of critical, but just looking back and understanding, okay, these are all integral parts of our lives. And these decisions that were made were the decisions that were made. We can't go back in time and we can't change them. But what we can do is go back in time and learn from them. And that is the most important part of this whole thing, is that you're learning and you're celebrating that person, regardless of the shame, the regret, the excitement, the joy, all of those emotions aside. The decisions are what they are. And what you want to do is look at what those are. So an emotional intake, that's what you're going to find in this course content, is so incredibly important to go through. We're going to understand our triggers. We're going to understand sort of like these thought processes of how do I get out of these triggers? How do I stop that negative self-talk in its tracks so it doesn't become this snowball effect? So our negative thought patterns, our limiting beliefs, our values, our things that we've learned throughout our life is basically what creates our past self. That past self informs the present. But if we don't really understand, or if we don't take the time to sit with our past self, look her in the eye, again, remember, vulnerable, you're sort of like fully exposed, and you're peeling back all those layers and trying to understand that girl within you, that woman inside of you, your present is going to look a lot like your old habits. Your present is going to look a lot like your old routines and your old values that you've held on to. And ultimately, as we move forward in life, as 2021 rolls in, 2022, and all of the years subsequently after that, it's going to be the same thing. You sort of hold on to that past person. If you love that past person and you're down and you like what you see, amazing. Keep doing what you're doing and just build and optimize on top of that. But if you're looking at yourself, which is what I did, I looked at myself in 2018, end of 2018, and I asked, okay, what is my life gonna look like in 5 years? And it scared me. It really scared me. I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing. And I made these bold shifts and changes. And if I could go back and learn something, just one thing, is that I was enough in all of those stages. I never lost my value. I never gained value just because I, did something differently or I learned something new. I've always had that value within myself. But there's nothing wrong with looking at yourself and wanting to change and wanting to improve. So that's what your past self is talking about. And again, it's hard work to be aware of what's going on and how you're feeling and what those thought patterns look like. But once you sit there and you really look at it and you accept it and you celebrate it, then that's when you're sort of unlocking that next level of the woman that you're trying to be. And again, you're gonna probably bring a lot of amazing experiences and knowledge and skills that you've had. But you're also going to be inspired to create some new routines, some new changes, some new thought process and patterns, and use these strategies and tools to empower yourself to get closer and closer to that woman that you envision in the future.